Hey guys, so this is the third time shooting this video. I usually don't put this much effort in, but well, and also my last four videos, I couldn't really think of it. Like this, the first time I shot it, there were things that I realized I missed after I shot it, and I haven't had that happen with the other ones yet. I mean, there's little things, but none of them were enough to where I'd want to reshoot the video. But anyways, I hope you guys are good. And then of course the second time I shot it, which was literally just today, I just looked like a mess. Like I just woke up. I probably still look like a mess, but I thought it would be ironic to shoot a video titled "A Chad's Thoughts on Anything" when I was just looking like a mess. So, I trimmed the stash a little bit, trimmed up just around my face, and splashed some cold water on my face. So I'm not looking as bad as I was, but I'm sure even looking my best, people would rate me normie, which is fine. Probably true in a lot of cases, but at least around here, at least in my experience, the reactions I get from girls is I'm a Chad. The way they treat me and body language and eye contact and all that. But, I think that's the way you should get an idea of what you are in terms of the attractiveness scale, which is a guy. I don't think it's all looks. In fact, that might be a minor aspect. The other aspect is charisma, confidence, how much money you have, your future potential, how girls treat you. So if other girls see that other girls are attracted to you, they're going to be most likely attracted to you as well. Yeah, girls want what other girls want. But I was blessed in the looks department. There's no denying that for me. I'm not gonna... Here's the goofy thing about something I stumbled across after finding out about this a couple months ago. And I've known what incels are for probably like over 5 years, but I never heard the terms Sub5 and black pill. I never knew about those terms until just a couple months ago. IMDb showed up in my recommended, and he's just hilarious. He's a really good storyteller, so I've been hooked on his channel. Like, he makes some good stuff. And he kind of got me into it. Taught me about all these terms and stuff just from me enjoying his content. I picked up a lot of it. So I thought it would be interesting for people to see a Chad's thoughts on the black pill and so Sub5 community. Let's face it, at least where I'm at, I think it's also geographically, you should take that into consideration, but let's face it, I'm a Chad. Look at that jawline, and to top things off, I'm like 6'4", so I'm really lucky. in that department. Um, there's definitely flaws, but okay, I got sidetracked. But one of the things I found out about looking into this community is there's this channel, Wheat Waffles, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think dudes literally pay this guy to rate their looks, which is just hilarious. But like I said, I think you shouldn't be paying a dude to rate your looks. You should just see how girls react to you. And that's free with, you know, it's maybe it's more painful to be rejected by a girl than have a random dude on the internet rate you a 4 out of 10, but I think both would be pretty painful. I don't know. So I think this video is going to be pretty controversial because I'm an outsider to the community, and because there's people that even like that just deny the black pill. But I want to start off by saying I think there's truth to it. Even like looks aside, just take that and put it off to the side for a minute. How many girls won't date a guy over 6 feet tall? I don't know. But it's certainly in like it's a number. And then the other night, I was talking to my brother on the phone, and I had the question, like, because we're both over 6 feet tall. It's like, dang, like, how many guys are over 6 feet tall? And what I found is it's only like 20% of the US population is over 6 feet tall. Which is pretty wild. Like, if you're a girl and you say that like, we were like kind of just guessing, but it's not even just that you're like limiting yourself to 20% of dudes. You're also like, you got to consider a percentage of those guys are like, they're not even into girls. They're already into a relationship. They're old. So they're limiting themselves to maybe like 10% of dudes. If those numbers are accurate, I don't know. But it's anecdotally, it seems to be true. Around like 20% of dudes are over 6 feet tall. And then there's girls that'll be like, oh, 6 figures. So that immediately eliminates me. So then you're like narrowing your numbers even more. And I don't know, I guess if you're okay being alone and you want to hold out and hopefully get the dude you're looking for, but you gotta know the odds are against you. And yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Pretty wild. So I think there's truth to it. Like, and then you take the facial structure into consideration, and if you don't have good facial structure and you're like a short dude, like, I don't want to say, here's the thing they all say, it's over. Which is a funny term. I ended up using, like, implementing some of the terms I've heard DBDR use into my dialect, like it's over and brutal and stuff. super funny dude. But the reason I don't think it's over for you, even if you're in that situation, is you can, you still have the options of charisma, stacking your bread, and like I said, if you have like attractive, I don't even think they need to be attractive necessarily, just girls that are pursuing you. All those three things, but you're not good in the looks department, I think you could still get like a girl that you'd like. So I think the pro of the black pill is dudes realizing reality, I guess, because I think this saying is true, like there's someone for everybody. But if you're sub 5, you'll have to spend so much more effort trying to find that someone, like more effort than you would spend trying to get your money up or improving your personality and confidence, or I don't know, you could even like, I don't know if this is right, but if you like hired or you like paid a girl to like an escort, that could probably work. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that though, that doesn't sound right. But I think it does work, maybe. But it's so easy to say just make a bunch of money as a over 6 foot tall, 6'4", relatively good looking dude, because of the halo effect. So something else that came up in the stats of like 6 foot tall, like 20%, just wild number. Like I'm just so lucky. But I think it said something like over 60% of CEOs, corporate executive officers, are over 6 feet tall. So it just goes to show there's a bias for tall. And I've heard that if you're attractive, people perceive you as more trustworthy and intelligent. So the reason I say it's easy to say is someone like that, it's because it is, like, just by nature of how I look and how tall I am, I'm gonna have more opportunities. So if you're like sub 5 and short, you're just gonna have to work harder to get the same opportunities, most likely. Luck plays a factor for sure. Like, you could be tall, good looking, and no opportunities come up. But the reason I think it's beneficial is some dudes would spend so much time and money just trying to get a girl, when really they should be investing that money and spending time making more money, or developing their charisma, or, as they say, looks maxing. But yeah, I think there's reality to what they think in the black pill ideology, but I think the downsides are you can be demotivated, lose all your drive when faced with that reality, and You might even just dive headfirst into hedonism and give up entirely, which I wouldn't recommend. And I think the people in that community that choose that path, most of them feel a sense of guilt. So the toxic part of it is when they start, like, when someone's trying to improve themselves and they start just telling them it's cope, like you're coping, like just give up, it's over. Crabs in a bucket, it's not good. But another positive of it is just them having somewhere they can vent and other dudes that, like, they can just, like, lean on each other and all that good stuff. But that's one aspect of it that I really don't like. Just like when someone in that community feels guilt for not trying and they see someone that's similar to them trying and improving, and that'll get you feeling guilty for sure. Um so yeah, life isn't fair, but I think you should try, because if you just dive into hedonism, you're gonna feel massive guilt when you're old and you're questioning, like, not even when you're old, well, yeah, when you're old, but also during it. You're just like questioning, like, oh, where could I be right now if I would have put in effort? And yeah, it's just a little bit of a warning, I suppose. This pipe is clogged. I gotta clean this shit. But aside from that, when you dive into hedonism and you're relying on substances, you're gonna mess up your dopamine receptors. The things that make you feel good are eventually not gonna make you feel good, and they're just gonna lower your baseline. So it's just not a long-term solution. Like, I get if you do it every once in a while and then dig yourself back out of it, but it just isn't gonna work long term. I don't know. Life's not fair. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. And just, I think the way women are wired is like they want the top dog. Like, they're not just gonna shack up with someone on their level for the most part. So, I don't know. And like, I don't know how many guys feel this way, but for me personally, just like, just like casual sex, it's not fulfilling. And even if it was, by participating in it, you're just like making it worse for everybody. You're making it worse for the girls. You're making it worse for the other guys. But I don't know. I'm sure some guys, they'd prefer that over relationships, but in my experience, I prefer like relationships. even though, like, I don't know, like, it's, I'm still holding out hope, but a lot of the times, because of all of this and because I'm open to this stuff, it's like, it feels more shallow. Because you're like, they have a word for, like, money. Like, if you have a lot of money, you'll attract, like, gold diggers if you're not careful. But what if you're just attracting girls based on your looks and, like, not what's from the inside? But again, it's life. It's like survival of the fittest. Just because you're like a beautiful person on the inside, and you know, I'm sure girls value that too. But if you're sub 5, it just doesn't count for much because they also want a protector, someone to make them feel safe. And provider, which is where money comes in. And I don't know if shallow is something to be that concerned about. Maybe I'll have to think more on that one. But to me, it seems more like by accepting it, you're living in accordance with nature rather than some. It's like a fantasy. In the sense that it's like a made-up concept almost. But it's also natural to want someone with a good personality, someone that's wholesome, someone that carries light within them. I would think. And it's all very dependent on the individual. When I talk about all this stuff, of course, there's trends, but there's always going to be girls that are into short dudes. There's going to be girls that don't like my long hair. They want a bald dude, or they want a guy with a mushroom cut. Or they might like a dude that's not good looking. They might, everyone has their own tastes and preferences. So none of this is entirely true and entirely applies to everybody. But those are my thoughts. They're open to change. Just kind of my initial thoughts too, of course, because I've only really heard about this stuff recently. But yeah, my advice to you, if you're a sub 5 male, focus on getting your money up. Focus on your charisma, looks maxing. Try. My advice is to try, because if you don't, you're just gonna be even more miserable. Like, yeah, it's true that all the cards are stacked against you, but you only get one shot at life, so you might as well try. And I think you should start to disassociate from the community. Like, you learned what you had to learn. Maybe if you want to go on there and vent sometimes, it's fine, but if you're actually going to take the path of improvement, it seems like the community, like, just roasts on you for that. Like, oh, you're coping, you're coping. So, that's my advice, but I totally understand if you're like, oh, why try? Like, it's gonna be too hard. It's like, I might as well just enjoy life, which I think you will for a while. And eventually, again, your dopamine receptors will get messed up. Maybe if you like find a hobby that's fulfilling. I don't know. I don't know if I should really even be giving advice because I'm not Sub5, but yeah, I don't know. I might make a second video, but that's all that I can think of for now. Thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next time.